Yeah.
Anybody else? What did the bird represent?
Like she wasn't like able. The bird like represent the wife because she wasn't like able to escape from her husband
Mhm.
because his husband was like controlling her.
Her husband.
Her husband was like controlling her in all the ways.
Mhm.
Like she treat her like a slave.
Mhm. So if the bird represented the wife, what did the cage represent?
The husband.
Everybody agrees with that? What did the cage represent?
I
In
think
the
that
house. Oh, sorry.
yes, I agree.
Mm.
I think that the cage is like her house because she's feeling trapped in her own house.
Okay.
Mm.
Like,
Nassim, what were you
Maybe
saying?
the bird and the cage represent her because she was the only one that maybe she was the only one that was put in that thing because she could have chosen a different decision, but it was her choice, not another one's because people was offering her help and she was like, no, I don't need that. And it was the cage was herself, like
Okay. So some of you say the cage was the husband, some say the cage was herself. And Nassim, what were you gonna say?
I basically say that it was the cage was a representation of her house, but as her life, her lifestyle between those walls. And
Okay.
everything that comes there was there in a certain position in which she will be trapped.
Does the cage also represent the relationship, the marriage? Who thinks the cage represents the marriage, and would you elaborate on that? How did the cage represent the marriage?
Yes, I think so. But in them cases, in the relationship that they had, not in others. Because I know that the kids at the same time, I feel like it's meaning of the husband, that the husband is keeping her inside. But in other part, she's keeping herself into the house and into the family, her family at the same time. But she knows she can go away. She couldn't walk or run or something, just get away, but she couldn't because she think that he will save her and give her a best life and her daughter. And yeah, I think.
Okay, so if the cage represents the relationship or the husband, who chose that cage?
Herself.
The rest of you, who chose the cage?
I think I agree with Melissa. She chose that cage actually.
So whether the cage represents the husband or the marriage, it was a choice she made. So when do you suspect that this abuse began? Did it begin that day when they were watching sports, or do you think it was something that came from before?
Yeah, I think like that's begin when they get married. Because sometimes like that type of men in the relationship they are like good. They're like a wonderful person. I don't know, but when they get married without their girlfriend, they like show her real face.
Their real colors. Okay,
Yes.
anybody else? When do you suspect this problem,
I
abuse?
think. Go on, bro.
I was going to ask you if you could like, because my lights went out and I couldn't watch the video. So if you could,
Come on.
Yeah, you didn't saw that I went off like.
No, everybody goes off and comes back. What's wrong with your stuff, man? Okay, so I'm gonna email a link to you. Is that what you were gonna ask?
Yeah, like if I could watch the video because I have no idea how it ended.
I'm gonna email the link to you later. Okay, so people, anybody else?
I agree with Amit because most of the times when there are only boyfriend and girlfriend,
Okay.
the boyfriend is always cute, they're always paying attention to the girl. But when it comes to marriage, they will be themselves. They will be aggressive. They will tell them do this, do that.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But you know, sometimes, most of the time, people show you their true colors in the relationship.
Yes, yes.
Are so in love that I don't see it. Because, for instance, I have a personal friend who was in high school with me, and she had a boyfriend, and every time they would, like, she would do something he didn't like, he would give her like a little pinch, like suavecito, cariñosito, like a little pinch, so cute little pinch. And she was okay with that. And then she married him, and then the pinch became like punch, pinch, punch. So, you know,
that's scary.
When he started hitting her, and everybody's like, Adita, leave him, what's wrong with you? When he started hitting her, you know, everybody was listening, oh, he was such a great guy, and how did he change, and what happened, and le dieron agua y panty, and all of this, because everybody was trying to explain why he changed, but he hadn't really changed. He had always been like that, because this little pinch de cariñito was also a form of aggression, okay? So a lot of times, people do show us how aggressive they are, like the girlfriends, because let's not only talk about men being abusive, but also girlfriends who are always hitting the boyfriend, like, hey, damn it, you know, and when they get married, it's their fingernails going into his face, and then he's like, oh, she was so sweet. No, she wasn't. She showed you that she was always like, damn it, don't do it. And the guy that was flirting and put up with it. So sometimes people do show us from the very, very beginning, but we're just like so in love that we don't want to see what's really happening. Okay, so my next question is, why do you think it was so difficult for her to leave this relationship? She actually said a few things, if you were able to understand. I think this was like an Australian accent. But why do you think it was so hard for her to leave?
I think that it was mainly what others people would think.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the man came to the kitchen and asked like is everything okay, she said yeah, it's okay. I think that she was thinking of what other people would think about she leaving him, but she was not thinking about that she was receiving mistreatments and it was not safe and it was not healthy.
Yeah. Did any
also
go?
Also, she was afraid to be alone and independent. Yeah, you know, some people want to have a hero and someone who protects you.
So were any of you able to understand what this man was, what his career was? No, he was a police officer. That's why he kept calling the other guy rookie. The rookie is the person who's just starting in the police department. So he was a police officer and he was actually a superior to the other guy. That's why he kept calling him rookie. So sometimes people that you would never believe are also abusive or are being abused, because we can't just go by what we see, okay? So the question is, how do you think her daughter felt of having to watch her mother being abused constantly by her dad? How do you think she felt? And do you think the daughter could have done something more? Some of you I haven't heard your voices. Remember, this is for little numbers. We're collecting numbers. Okay, go.
I think the daughter, like, I don't want to say that she was feeling guilty, because I don't think she was guilty of something. Okay, sorry.
You live in a mountain.
There's this strange car passing right by. Okay, sorry about that.
It's Corona. Corona's doing that.
Yeah. So, I don't think, I think the daughter felt sad because she could do something more, you know? Like there's so much possibilities. Even if he was a policeman, she could call the police, you know? It wouldn't hurt nothing. And okay. And also I think she was feeling scared because she
But
thought that,
his dad was a police officer.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. She could call the police even though he was a policeman.
Okay. But does anybody think the daughter could have done more to help?
She slapped him in the back.
Slap him in the back.
Slap him
Punch him in the back. Oh, well,
So you're
with a knife.
Oh,
So you're
Slap
asking.
him.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
So you're asking to
Wrong-
fight
wrong
abuse
movie.
with abuse.
Okay.
My
I guess
God.
you're referring to that moment when he was choking the mom, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that.
Or to,
Okay,
or
so
to the,
anybody else, what do you think the daughter was going through during that time?
Well, yeah, depression. But I think there's, well, as I always say, family is the first building block of the society and that stuff. So when you have you usually in your family, you have all the reliable, the most reliable information that you can have for um, little steps to become a good person. So in this case, we have a relationship, an entire relationship, the main relationship of that family being uh, being based on so much
Yeah.
abuse and the thing. And she was going through all this, trying to figure out that wasn't actually a good relationship, that was good. And I think that will be that to that point in which she was able to tell that all of that was wrong. She was the first one to ask for help, maybe.
Yeah.
Because
So
for that,
Nassim, first of all, why am I not seeing your face? I'm seeing this picture of you. Why is this happening? Oh, there he is. Yay. Okay, so yeah, you do have a point. You do have a point there. And also we have to understand that this girl, the daughter, was very scared. Because it's you love both your parents, you love your dad, you love your mom, and what's going on is just really scary for her. So she was probably like 15, 14, 15
16,
years old.
for that matter. I think that's the main reason why she wouldn't stab the guy in the back.
Of course, it's her dad and she loves him.
Stab your dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so back to the question of why did this woman find it so hard to leave? She mentioned when her friend told her, why don't you leave? She's like, oh, he loves us. Okay, so the problem is the definition that she had of love. How on earth could she think that a guy that's beating her, choking her, slapping her, raping her, loves her? So where do you think that problem begins?
Actually, well, this relates to the question that you asked earlier, that when this abusive behavior should start. And I was about to say that it was starting in the very beginning of the relationship, not as a married couple, but just a regular couple. And that's because when I don't know if it's because of the movie, but the acting tells that he is actually really the way that they portray it, it's directly to say that his abusive behavior, it's detonated by his insecurities.
Of course.
He fears to. He's married and he still have the mentality of like a teenager, a boyfriend, a teenager boyfriend. So it's like, if that is his attitude in an adult relationship, in a mature relationship, they have a daughter, a teenage daughter. So if that's their attitude now, it means that it has to be the case for his early being. You don't unmature yourself. Okay, you just can't progress in this.
Yeah,
so
because in that scene, the first scene where he's with his friends watching sports, and a friend said, "Oh, I'm getting thirsty," and he called her. He expected her to just appear suddenly with drinks.
That thing of "you belong to me."
Yeah. Oh yeah. But and then when she didn't just appear, he told her, "You're making me look bad in front of my boys. You're disrespecting me." just because she didn't run outside like, whoa, here's drinks.
Yes.
So
It
yes,
was like,
there was an issue of insecurity there. Yes, Adrian.
yeah.
I was gonna say that I don't want to make a statement, but I think he might swing to the other side.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
No,
sometimes.
because when you see him so he went to the kitchen and he goes like, "But you're embarrassing in front of the boys," and then the other guy
Get your
comes,
point.
he comes across the other guy. It's like, "Is everything okay?" He's like, "Oh," but he said like in a flirty way, like, "Oh yeah, everything is okay." Like he said it on a flirty way.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what the actor. We don't know the background of the actor. But also you need to understand that he was the superior officer, and this other guy was just the rookie. So he's trying to put on this appearance like, oh.
Yeah, but he's a superior by rank and still feeling secure about how it's portrayed.
Exactly.
That's the red flag. I mean, you don't even have to wait until you see him beat her or whatever. You see that exact part, and you see this is not a person who is emotionally able to hold a relationship for too long.
Yeah,
and
sometimes.
Go ahead, Mary.
I think that sometimes maybe if he's a policeman and he was used to just put order and to say what to do to other people, he was trying to put that same situation in her house.
Yeah.
And if he could not have the power to control what is happening, he feels like what.
Yeah. That's like less of a man because she was not obeying him. Now, people, those of you who are there looking at me silently, you do realize we're collecting little numbers, right? So you need to say something, even if you say, "Hello, teacher, nice to see you." That gives you a little. I'm not serious. Okay, but I do have a question for you. In that first scene, only one of the men, and there were like 3 other men there, only one of them picked up that something was going on. Why do you think the other 2 were like, "Where's my beer? Where's my beer?"
Probably were the same or something really close to that.
Okay, so you think they're the same kind of person?
Mostly. Yes, maybe his friends have the same mentality, the stupid mentality of him, and that's why they don't.
Okay, so Isabela, Moises, Rebecca, Natalie, Aranza, and Genesis, and Layali, and more. Yeah, I said Moises already. Talk to me.
I think maybe they were like, that's not my problem, and they just were hanging out with the guy, so they were like, not my problem. The relationship, I don't care.
Okay, maybe. Probably. Rebecca, or maybe raise your hand.
Okay, I think maybe they have like.
Mamita, what am I looking at? Rebecca.
My. I have my phone in the charge, so I can't move on because it disconnected.
Oh, you people really come up with the best excuses. Okay, go ahead. Let me keep seeing your forehead. Yes.
Okay. I think that they maybe have like expectation of what their boss is. So they thought that if he's like bringing orders in the police station and doing everything, maybe he's the same in his house, and that's why they have like this thug, I think.
Okay, wait. Somebody else was talking. Isabela, what were you saying?
I think that there's like a little possibility of that they didn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times, or some relationships, the aggressive part stays like private. They don't really show, and she was like hiding the mark. So for me, they didn't notice that something was wrong.
Okay. Nasim, you wanted to say something, but we still have to get Layali and Genesis and Aranza and Natalie to talk. So
I wanted to comment on something that Mary said that light something in my head, that if he is so he likes to okay, he is a police officer and he's the highest rank in that group, and so he portrayed the format of giving orders from the work to house. I think that it's more something more inner of him, and maybe there is something inside his mind that actually make him, that insecurity may be the cause of why he wanted to be a policeman and why he does such a good job into being the shift and a strict one. So if that's something that he portrayed into his personal life, means that this is not a job in a format that he can actually quit off when he goes home. It's a format that he constantly have in mind, and his job is a way to notice that he's actually looking for scenarios when he can actually behave that way without any consequences.
Because his job, a lot of people make the mistake of making their entire value as humans come from their jobs. So like, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an investigator, you know, so that his whole self-esteem was based on this ability to get people to do what he wanted to do. And since she was not obeying fast enough, he kind of felt like, you know, she had cut off his, you know. Okay, so let's go. The rest of you who have not said a word. Hello, Aranza, Layali, Genesis, Natalie. Ting Maring
I was going to.
Go ahead, Genesis.
I was going to say that I agree with Isabella too, because maybe his friends were like, "Oh, he's our boss. How could he be able to treat his wife wrong?" Or they just didn't think or imagine something like that could happen, so they just didn't notice the mistreatment.
Yeah, and also the only person that reacted was the rookie or novato, the one who had just come in. So maybe the others knew and they were like, he's my boss. But this one, he just came in and he hadn't developed that need to impress the boss, or this need to look good in front of the boss, because he was the new guy. So maybe that's the reason why he reacted. Okay, Layali, what were you gonna say?
I think that the guys didn't care about the relation that he has with his wife, because they were like just bebiendo, drinking that things, and they didn't look for to what the boss was doing with her wife.
His wife, yeah, exactly. Okay, Aranza, Natalie, Ting Marin, what? Go ahead.
I think that the rookie was the only one who reacted because he was new at the police. So he had this illusion that everything needs to be done with justice and everything needs to be right. So because of this, he was the only one who reacted, because the other ones were older in the police department. So he's trying everything to be okay because he's starving. He's not. Maybe he wants to be the hero.
Probably, and because the others had been there before, they were probably already used to the corruption, so it didn't have an impact on them.
Yes, the rookie didn't have the mentality that the other guys have.
Exactly. Natalie.
What I can say is that maybe his friends noticed what was happening, but they didn't wanted to get into that problem because maybe they will receive hits too from his part.
That's true.
And so they were like, okay, I'm not going to get into that because then I'm going to have problems.
Yeah, have problems on the job. Exactly. That's a great point. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion is this. COVID-19 has been bringing up all this weirdness in people. And A lot of people who we thought were balanced and healthy are not. And really strange things are happening, violent things are happening. If at any point, and it might not be your case right now, but if at any point in your life, in your relationship, because that's what we're dealing with, you see that your partner is acting strange or acting controlling or making weird comments or pinching you, de que cariñito, you gotta put a stop to it. Or that, déjame, ay, qué tonto eres. You stop it. You tell them, that's not how I roll. I'm not gonna put up with this. Because that is how abuse shows itself. That is their way of telling you, hey, I'm gonna do cariñitos now, and next time you're gonna get a punch in the face. So you need to pay attention. Relationships are not just about, no, it's about paying attention to what is really going on, to avoid these types of situations. Because then when you're married and you have a kid and this guy's beating you, it's a lot more difficult for you to leave in that moment. Because, for instance, she said she thought he loved her and she didn't have a job. And remember that he made sure she didn't get a job, so she would have to depend on him. And then it makes it a lot more complicated and difficult to leave that relationship. So from the very beginning, Juancito, Pedrito, or Maria treating you weird, you tell them, no, I don't want this. I probably like you a lot, but I'm not gonna put up with this. Bye-bye. You have to start pulling out abuse from the very beginning and stop thinking that, oh, he loves me or she loves me or she's gonna get better after we get married, because it never happens like that. People get worse after they get married. Nobody gets better, people get worse. Okay, so that's it for today. Only one person was missing. I think it was only Daniel isn't here. All the others are here. And yeah, okay. Picture. How can we forget the picture? I keep forgetting the picture. Picture, and then we're out of here. Okay, let's see. Let me get a good angle. Got everybody's face. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Why picture? You're already recording.
Well, because I'm exaggerating. Have a nice rest of your Thursday, people. Bye-bye.
Bye.